Okay, so today we're gonna see some other things. Okay, like mm, in yesterday's class we have seen this equality operator. Okay, how this equality operator works. Okay, and we also discussed why we should not use equality operator, this double equals, when we are comparing the strings and all. Okay, we should not be using this for string. And apart from that, we also did something like concatenation operator when we did something like this. Okay, how this differs. Okay, how, if at all I remove this from here, what will be the output? Can you tell me the output of this particular program? Okay,
The first line would be sum of the number is plus 60.
what do you think? Some of the numbers is 60. You are yet to go through yesterday's class, is it?
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
go through.
okay, no issues. Uh, so it's not 60, it's 2040. So that is, those things we have discussed, why it is 2040 and all. Okay, the same thing, whatever it was basics of Java, nothing extra. Okay, so that is it. Now in today's class we're gonna go ahead and start methods in Java. Okay, methods in Java.
Mhm.
Now when I talk about methods in Java, when I talk about methods in Java, what happens is there are four kinds of methods. Okay, four kinds of methods in Java. Now what are those four kinds, guys? Okay, like if you see just take this as a some kind of a quadrant. Okay, and this is y-axis and say this is x-axis. Okay, so if you think it like this. Okay, now what are methods? Okay, now methods will have, say for example, whatever we have here, we have only one method called as main method. Okay, and we have not discussed now, right now, what is this public static, what is this void. Okay, nothing we have discussed. Okay, so in Java it is not only the main method. Okay, the main method is needed for us to start the execution of the program. Say if I remove this main method, I cannot execute this program. Say run as configuration, it comes. Run as Java application is not coming up. Run as Java application is not coming up. That is the main reason. What we have to do is we have to have the main method in our program, guys. We have to have the main method. Now apart from the main method, say why we go for methods, other methods is, say uh, there is an array. Okay, we have not discussed what is an array. Okay, there is an array and there are around 10 different arrays. Say like this, you have around 10 different arrays. To array 2, array 3, array 4, like this, array of 0. Okay, array 0. Now, and each array have some numbers, okay, in them. Okay, some different numbers. Okay, every and each array will have some numbers. Now what they do is, in the industry, if at all and your requirement is, see, your requirement is you have to calculate the standard deviation of each of these array, okay? Or instead of saying standard deviation, yeah, say standard deviation of each of the array, okay? Standard deviation, okay, each of the array. This is your requirement. So one of the option for you to solve this problem is, okay, we're not gonna discuss what is standard deviation. That is not the intention here, okay? But say your requirement is to calculate the standard deviation, okay? And to calculate standard deviation of some numbers, okay, say if you go here, okay, I'll just show you. There are some steps are involved to calculate the standard deviation, guys. Okay, I'll just show you here. We are not learning the standard deviation here. Say if you want to calculate the standard deviation, there is first step. This is the first step wherein they will calculate mean. Then they will calculate, subtract from every number mean. We have to subtract. Then you have to square the result. Okay. Then you have to find the square differences. Then you have to take the square root of that. Okay. Yeah. So these four steps are involved. Okay, to calculate the standard deviation. Now you can do it like this. Okay, say this is your main program, main method. Okay, say your class name is calculate sd. Okay, this is your class name. So you have an option like this. Okay, you will write public static void main string args. Okay, and say you have these arrays. Okay, say you have something like this. Okay, don't worry about the syntax now. Okay, arr array 1. Okay, and you have some set of numbers here, some set of numbers 1 3 5 7 7 4 5 22 34. Okay, like this you have some set of numbers. Okay, and there are different arrays. Okay, there are, say, there are 4 or 5 different arrays or 10 different arrays like this, and you have to find out the standard deviation for each and every array. Okay, for each and every array. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and each array will have some different things. This might have 6 7 22 comma 34 45 89. Each array is a different array, guys. Okay, it's not that every array has the same values. 0 5 9 5. Okay, now to calculate this standard deviation you have 4 steps. Okay, say these are the 4 steps involved for calculating the standard deviation. Okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, these are these 4 steps involved. So your one of the approaches, you can do it like this in the main method itself. For array 1 you calculate step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, for the array 1. In the same way array 2 you do the same 4 steps. Array 3 also you do the 4 step, all 4 steps. Array 4 also you do the same step. Array 5 also you calculate the mean by using these 4 steps. Basically what's happening here, You are repeating your code. You are repeating the same code, guys. Okay, same code at different places. Okay, same code at the different places. Now, the problem is, say, the logic for calculating your standard deviation changes. Okay, say you don't need, say someone comes with a new formula for standard deviation. Okay, according to that, you don't need step 3. You don't need step 3. Okay, for calculating the standard deviation, you don't need step 3. Then what you have to do, if this is your program, you have to change it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places. 5 different places you have to change it. Now if you go with this kind of approach, what's going to happen is you cannot maintain your code, guys. You cannot maintain your code, and this kind of approach is not a good approach, guys. Okay, so this is not a good approach. So what they normally do in the industry is they'll remove these steps from here. Okay, like this. They'll remove the steps. Instead, in this class, okay, the class starts at here at the top and ends at the down. Okay, you will calculate, you will write a method. Say method name is, say, get standard deviation. Method name is get standard deviation, and these 4 steps will be put in here, guys, inside this method. Okay, now if you want to get the standard deviation for the first array, okay, say, and it takes some argument. What are arguments and all, you don't worry. Okay, okay, when you are calculating the standard deviation of the first array, all you need to do is you call this method like this here and pass this array1. It will calculate the standard deviation for this entire array and give you back the result. Same way, you can, for array2, you can call the same method. For array2, you can call the same method and you pass in array2. For array3, again you call the same method and pass in array3. Now what happens is, if at all you are doing like this, okay, your code is much more modular code. What I mean to say is, if someone reads your code, okay, they can easily understand also. Okay, okay, there is an array. Okay, they are trying to find out the standard deviation of that particular array. There is one more array, they are trying to calculate the standard deviation. Okay, like this you can easily find out, guys. Okay, and tomorrow, if at all your formula changes for calculating the standard deviation, if at all your formula changes for calculating the standard deviation, say you don't need step number 3 anymore. Someone has unmuted yourself. Can you mute yourself, because there is some kind of a disturbance. Thanks a lot, guys. Say tomorrow you don't need step number 3. Okay, you need to do changes at only third step. You just remove this third step, or if you talk, instead of third step you have to do some changes here, do those changes here. So you need not change your main code, main program. That is the main reason we are going for methods, guys. That is exactly the main reason why we are going for methods. Okay, now every method every method will have a specific task. how right now whatever this method we have discussed, this method is used to calculate the standard deviation. Similarly, each and every method will have a specific task. Okay, specific task, and there will be some set of instructions which every method will execute. Okay, set of instructions every method will execute. Okay, now you guys should be able to know why we need methods. Okay, why we need methods, you should be able to see, guys. Okay, now in the same example, okay, in the same example, calculate standard deviation, there are different kinds of things, like some methods, this method can be programmed in a way that it will calculate the standard deviation, then it will give this result back to the main method. Okay, or else it will print directly here, it will not give anything to the main method. Okay, so different kinds of what you call this, methods are there, so all those things we'll be seeing, guys. Okay, that's the thing. Now basically there are four kinds of methods in Java or C or C sharp, whatever you talk about. Okay, there are four kinds of methods. Okay, what are those four kinds of methods? Is first one, okay, okay, method with no argument and no return type. Okay, what is this return type? What is this argument? We'll be discussing, guys. Okay, don't be worried. The second one is method with argument but no return type. Okay, third one is a method with no argument, but there will be some return type. Okay, and last one is method with argument and and with return type. Okay, now these four kinds of methods will be there. Apart from these four methods, there will not be any other kinds of methods in any programming language, guys. Okay, now what is an argument and what is return type, we'll be seeing next, guys. Okay, what is an argument and what is the return type, that is what we'll be seeing next. First we have to understand what are arguments. Okay, what are arguments in methods. Okay, say I'll create a class called as example 8 methods. Example 8 methods. Okay, and I said main method is needed because without main method we cannot execute our program, so main method should be there. Okay, because your program execution starts from the main method. Okay, that is what you need to understand, guys. Now say you you want to do something like this. You want to call a method. Okay, call a method. If at all you call that method, it should print hi how are you, okay, or good morning. It should print good morning. So my method name is greet, okay. So it's up to me what method name I want to give, okay. And method name should starts with lowercase, okay. And even if you uppercase, it's not a problem, but that's not a good practice, guys, okay. Start with the lowercase, and I will give this two braces here, okay, two braces like this, like this, and I will say public static void, okay. So same thing, whatever we have seen here in case of main method, how we use public static void. Here also I'm using public static void. Method name is greet this time. This is our main method, but what method which we created is greet. And here I'm not typing anything. Okay, here I'm not typing anything. Okay, and this section is called argument section. This section is called argument section, guys. And right now I have not given any argument, so this is a no argument method. This is a no argument method, okay. Any doubts here when I say no argument methods? And I will tell you how to go ahead and give some arguments and how to make use of it, okay. That's it. Now here it might be confusing. Methods are so much, if at all you don't get it, it becomes very much very difficult in later parts, guys, okay. So try to get the methods. Now if I call this method, how to call this method, that's the thing, okay. Okay, and as of now imagine this public static void is compulsory kind of thing, okay. I want to call this method. You just copy from the method name till here, okay, and give a semicolon like this. That's it. Now if I call the method, if I run this class, nothing is printed. That's because I'm not doing anything here. Anything here also I'm not doing in the sense I'm not printing anything. Now say, let me say sysovut system.out.println. I'm saying hi, good morning. Now if I run, it says hi, good morning. So this method does this particular task. It prints hi, good morning on the console. Okay. Now I'll tell you the order of execution. Okay. I'll say sysovut first line in main method, last last line in main method. Okay. Now how the execution happens is, first this line will be executed, that is first line in the main method. Then if your Java compiler sees this, okay, there is a method called greet, okay, you're calling a method, then it searches for this method. Is there any method called greet? Yes, there is a method. So it will execute whatever there inside this method. What is there? System.out.println, and you say hi, good morning. That is gets printed, okay, that gets executed. Once this is executed, again your program control comes back here, and the last line gets executed, guys. This is the program order of execution. So this one, then this one, and then this one, okay, because first this line gets executed when it sees there is a method call, your, your control goes here and this method gets executed, this line gets executed. After that your control comes back here again and this last line gets executed, guys. Any doubts, any one of you, in this method? And this method does only one thing. It just prints hi, good morning. Okay, no doubt. Now I'm saying this method is no argument method. Okay, return type we'll see later. First let's understand no argument method. That's because if at all there is any argument, I have to pass it here. Okay, I have to pass right here. Arguments I should be passing here. Now let's consider a method with argument. Okay, now this time what I want to do, from the main method, I should be able to pass some name. Say if I say Shikha, what should happen is it should print it should print good morning Shikha. If I pass anything else, okay, it should type this good morning plus, it should concatenate Shikha or any name that you pass. That's the requirement, guys. Okay, in that case what I have to do is, if at all I have to pass some value from the calling method. Okay, this is called method is, this greet is a called method, and who is calling that? Main method is calling the greet method. Okay, the main method is calling the greet method. So main method is called calling method, guys. Okay, main method is called calling method. Now my initial requirement was, if I call a method, it should print good morning. Okay, now my requirement is changing. I'm saying I should be able to call the method and pass some argument, and that argument should reflect here. Okay, so in that case what I can do is I can say public static void greet. Okay, I will say I will say string string name. Okay, anything you can say, string name. Now if I do that, I will say sysovut. I'll say good morning plus name plus name. Now what I'm trying to say here is, same method, whatever you have seen same method, public static void greet, and here also greet, but here there is now something different, that is string name, and this is called as argument, and I'm printing that name here. Okay, that is what I'm doing. Now how to call this method, how to make use of it, that is what we'll be seeing, guys. Okay, how to call this method and how to make use of it, we'll be seeing, guys. Now there is absolutely no changes in the method except for this particular part. Now if I run this class, still greet method will be called. How your Java decides which method to call, it just checks, okay, is there any greet method? It's the first, this line gets executed. When it is executing this line number 6, it just checks, is there any greet method? Yes, there are two greet methods. Okay, this is the one, and this is another greet method. Then it checks, no, I want the greet method which doesn't take any argument. Then it will definitely call the first method which doesn't take any argument, because my argument section is empty here. Okay, so let's just check, guys. Okay, it will call it now, it will still call the first method. See, hi, good morning. But if you say, if you do a slight change here, and if you say Priyanka, okay, now I am passing a string now. Okay, I am passing a string. Now what happens? First line gets executed. When it is trying to execute the second line, it checks, is there any greet method? Yes, there are two greet methods. Okay, no, I want a greet method which takes a string as an argument. So first one doesn't take string as an argument, so it rejects first one. It checks for the second one. Yes, second one takes string as an argument. Yes. So what happens is it calls this method. That is the first step it does. It calls this method. That's the first step. And the second step, what it does is it assigns, this is very, very important, guys. This is too much important. It assigns value Priyank to this name variable. It is as good as doing like this. It is behind the scene. Okay, see, our code is this, but behind the scene it happens like this. Name is equal to Priyank. Okay, something like this. And when you print it, it says, hi, good morning, Priyank. Okay, so that is what it will happen, guys. Now if I run this, run as Java application, say it says good morning Priyank this time, and it is calling this particular method. Any doubts, any one of you? And give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, I'll be right back. So no doubts, right? Okay, this is how, now this is called as no argument method, and this is called as single argument method. Okay, or method with argument. Okay, now the method name doesn't matter, guys. Okay, say some people does some different name also. Greeting, this method might be greeting. So if you want to call this method now, you have to call saying here greeting, because what happens is, if at all it is now giving the compilation error, that's because compilation error, why it is it executes the first line. While executing the if at all it executes the second line, it will try to search, is there any greet method? Yes, there is a greet method, but is there any greet method which takes argument? No, there is no such greet method which takes argument. So it will get confused. That's the reason it gives you an error message saying that the method greet with no argument is not applicable to type string. Okay, so it is indirectly saying you're trying to call a method named greet which takes string argument, but I don't have any such methods to call. Is there any method which takes string argument and its name is greet? No. If you want to call this method, then better you don't give any argument. That is exactly what it says, guys. Now it will work fine. It will call the first method. This is how we will call this is how we will call methods, guys. Okay, and when the name was same, if at all you understood that, if the name when the name was same, okay, on what basis it used to identify whether to execute this method or this method, it's based on the arguments, correct? If you have understood that, you have already understood one of the very, very powerful concepts of Java called as method overloading. Okay, there is a concept in Java called as method overloading. If you have understood Now on what, say when the name is same, this is also greet, this is also greet, on what basis if it calls method this method or this method? It's based on the arguments, correct? So if at all you have understood that, you have already understood one of the concepts in Java called as method overloading, guys. Okay, we'll discuss about method overloading in later tutorials, but there is nothing more than that in the method overloading. Okay, now say there might be one more method, say public. And can you call both the methods? Yes, you can call both the methods like this. Say one method you will call greet and the second time you will say Priyank. Okay, now if I do something like this, what's going to happen is first line in the main method gets executed, then first method gets called, greet method gets called, so good morning is printed. Next Priyank, greet with Priyank as an argument is getting called, so good morning Priyank is getting printed. Then the last line in the main method. Okay, that is the thing. Now can we have more than one argument to a method? Yes. Say you want something like, you want something, sorry, you want to write a method and you want to say that method, say public static void. Okay, and today I'm trying to tell you guys what is about this void. Okay, so far in the main method we have not discussed anything, but today I want to discuss what is this void. Okay, and some of you might already know this. Okay, see, I say public static void and I will say get sum. Okay, and always give a special attention to the naming convention. Okay, if at all you give, when they ask you in the interview or anywhere, okay, if you give the proper naming convention, okay, it just tells that you have done coding in Java. Okay, you don't give something like get some or something. Okay, that is the thing. Now it for any method or any variable name, the first letter should be lowercase, and if at all the method is or a variable is combination of different words, then the first letter of subsequent words should be capital letter. Okay, say if you want to get method name is get sum of numbers, you should say this, get sum of numbers. Okay, something like this. Now say this method takes two arguments, int num1 comma int num2, two arguments, and you will say sysovut sum is equal to plus num1 plus num2. Okay, this is my third method. Okay, now if I want to call these two methods, I can say get sum, and always use this shortcut, just write get get or ge and use control space bar. Okay, and select it. If you try to type it manually, there are all chances that you might type s lowercase, and you will be, instead of understanding the concept, you will waste most of your time in handling the syntax. Okay, syntax, it's not about syntax, guys, it's about the concept. Okay, so try to use shortcuts. Okay, that will definitely help you. Okay, control space bar, I selected this. I'll say number one is 20 and number two is say 34. Okay, now if I run this, system.out.println, that is first line in main method will be called, then then this method get some method gets called. So system.out.println some of the numbers is so and so will be called. At the end, last line in the main method will be called, guys. Can someone tell me what is the output of line number 19? What will be printed when I pass 20 and 34? Sum of the numbers is equal to what will be printed?
It's 2034.
Yes, sum of the numbers is 2034 because it is getting concatenated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you really want the sum, you probably need to put it in this one. Okay, that is what we have discussed in yesterday's class. Sum of the numbers is 54, or else as Priyank said, you can do like this. Okay, int sum is equal to num1 plus num2, and you pass the sum here. This is also one of the way, guys. Okay, this is the cleanest way of writing the code. Okay, like this also you can do. Sum of the numbers is sum is 54. Okay, now this method, then again this get some method takes two integer arguments. Can I pass one string and one integer? No, it will gonna give me an error. Okay, say hi. I'll say what is the error it is giving. It is saying I don't see any method which takes a string as an integer, any method named getSum. Okay, so it is saying like there is a method called getSum, that's everything is fine, but I don't see that method taking string as an argument. It is taking integer and integer. Okay, so you have to pass integer and integer. That is the most important thing. Okay, that's the most important thing. And believe me guys, methods you have to try, otherwise it will be much more difficult. Okay, methods if you don't try, it will get really difficult. Okay, and you can have n number of arguments. Okay, and n different kinds of arguments also. Okay, and you can say here one more method. Okay, one more method, sorry, one more method is something like this: public static void. Okay, say repeat my name. Okay, see the method name is repeat my name. It takes two arguments. Say so far we have seen method taking similar kind of argument. This is only string argument, this is two integer arguments. Okay, say I want to do one. This is my logic. Okay, this is my requirement. I will give a name to this method, and I'll also tell how many times that name should be printed, how many times that name should be printed. Okay, now that is what I'll be doing it in this method, guys. Okay, that is what I'll be doing. Say and I'll say it, so that's the reason I'll say string name comma int number of times to be repeated. Okay, normally don't give such a big name, but give some logical name, guys. Okay, someone is reading your code should be able to understand what is the significance of this particular number. Okay, I did not teach you for loop, guys, but but don't worry, I'll be teaching you what is for loop. But as of now, just ignore this code, whatever I'm writing. For I equals to 0, I is less than I'll say name. Okay, I have not taught you for loop. Don't worry. The idea is not to learn the for loop right now, guys. Okay, that is what is the most important. Idea is to understand the methods. Okay, how do we create methods? Okay, this logic should not be bothering you. Okay, logic should not be bothering you. You should be concentrating on this number of arguments, how I'm passing the arguments, and all those things. Okay, logic. Don't try to concentrate on the logic. This program logic, guys. Here, just concentrate on how we can call the methods and all those things. Okay, saying I'll call method that is get my name. I'll pass something like Shikha, and I will say it has to be repeated 4 times. Okay. Now if I run this method, Shikha will be printed on the console 4 times. See, Shikha is printed 4 times, guys. Now if I pass 10, Shikha will be printed 10 times. So it's not always you will give similar kinds of arguments. Sometimes you will give one argument as a string and another argument as an integer, or any combination is fine, guys. That is what I want you to understand from this particular method. Okay, and if you don't understand this for loop, don't worry, guys. Okay, I'll be teaching you for loop. Intention was not to teach you for loop now. Intention was to you guys to understand what are all things possible. Okay, so it's not necessary that you have to give similar kind of argument. If the first argument is integer, second argument is also integer, not necessary, guys. Second argument can be anything. Any doubts, any one of you guys? No? Okay, that's it. Now this is methods with argument, guys. Okay, now comes one of the important thing called as return type. Okay, and this is where I have seen people getting most confused when it comes to return type. I have seen people getting confused more often than not, guys. Okay, so I will say example 8, sorry, example 9 methods. Okay, I'll create a new class. Okay, new class. I'll say public static void main. Say I'll take this particular method. I'll copy this method and I'll put it here. Similar method I'm creating in this class as well. If I have to call this method, I have to say get sum, and I will have to say 20 and 10, 20 and 10. And if I call this method, say it adds these two numbers and it prints it. Okay, but my requirement is not this, guys. Okay, say my requirement might be something else. Okay, what is that something else? My requirement might be there is one more method, that is public static void get square. Okay, get square. And what this method does is, it takes an integer argument, integer argument integer number num or num1, okay, and it will write square of the result, okay, square of that particular number, square number, square of the number equal to plus num1 into num2. This is how we'll find the square, right? I mean, there is a number x. If at all I want to say x square, if at all there is a number x, and if at all I have to get the x square of that number, then probably I will say x square is equal to x into x, correct? X into x. That's what I'm trying to do there, guys. Okay, nothing more than that.
So Vishal, here it will be num2, where we are defining num2.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It is num1.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's num1. Sorry. Yeah, definitely num1. Okay. Now, one more thing I want you to understand here. Okay, a little bit about what is local variable. Okay. Now, in this method, there are two variables called num1 and num2. In this method, there is num1 variable. Okay. Now, this num1 can be accessed only inside, and this num2 also can be accessed only inside this particular method. Any other method in this world will not know is there any variable called num1. So num1 can be accessed only inside this particular method. This is what I want you to understand. Okay. In the same way, even if if I have int x equals to 45, this x can be accessed inside your main method. It cannot be, so only in this highlighted part. It cannot be accessed anywhere else. Similarly, this num1, whatever I'm saying, this num1 is different than this num1. Okay, and this num1, or else if I say num, okay, if at all you guys are getting confused, if I say num, okay, it can be accessed only inside this particular method. Okay, that is what you need to understand. Okay, I'll keep it num1. Okay, let the confusion be there. Okay, because I want you guys to understand, even if I give the same name, this num1 is different and this num1 is different. Okay, that is what you will understand when I talk about the global and local variable. Don't be worried as of now. As of now, understand this num1 is different, this num1 is different, guys. Okay, because except for this num1, this particular num1, the first one can be accessed only inside this method, whatever I have highlighted. Anywhere else in this entire eclipse or entire world, you cannot access this num1. Same is the case with variable x. Variable x can be accessed only inside the main method. If you say system.out.println here x, it will say what is this x. See, it says what is this x. I don't know. X cannot be resolved to a variable. It is saying I don't see any variable named x. Okay, so just an FYI at this point of time. Now, so my requirement is like this, guys. Okay, my requirement is like this. I will say th say this is me. Okay, main method is me. Okay, I'll tell this method who gets a method. Boss, I'm giving you two numbers. Okay, giving you two numbers, 10 and 20. Okay, for example, 10 and 20. Okay, you do one thing. You calculate the sum of those two numbers. Okay, calculate the sum of two numbers and give it back to me. Okay, give it back to me. Now, because you have something else in mind. Okay, you want your intention is not just to calculate the sum of two numbers. Okay, after that you want to give that sum whatever this person has given me. Get sum is a person. Okay, for example, he has given you something, right? He has given you 30. You want to pass it to someone else and tell him, boss, I'm giving you some number, a particular number, just please do a square of it. You square that number and print the result on the console. Okay, print the result on the console. Now this is the main method. This is the main method. This is get sum method, and this is get square method. Okay, this is get square method. So main method gives two numbers to it. Get sum method, okay, two numbers, it gives you the sum. Once it gets the sum, it gives that sum back to get square method, and get square method will calculate the square of it and will print the result. Okay, and only main method knows here, only this main method will know that what all it is doing. This method, this get sum method doesn't even know what you will do. What it just knows this main method will give me, or some method, not even main method, it will not even know who is the main method. It will just know that someone will give me two numbers. I have to get calculate the sum of that two numbers, and whoever is calling me, I'll just give that number back to that person. That is it. And this method, the second method, will know, get square method, it will know only one thing. Someone will give me a number, I have to square that number and print the result on the console. That's it. Okay, now in this kinds of scenario, get sum is a method which takes argument. Okay, that's for sure. We have already seen what is a method. When we say method with argument, we have seen it takes some argument, so it is method with argument. But so far I have seen that get sum method doesn't return anything. I mean to say, is there any way for you to say, you to say something like this? Okay, you get sum 10 and 15. Okay, you call this method. Is there any way to say sysovut and sum is there? Can you print the sum here? No, you cannot even get that variable, but that's because it's a local variable. You cannot access this variable. That's what I said. Any variable which is declared inside any method. So get sum method has three variables, num1, num2 and sum. These three variables can be accessed only inside get sum method. You cannot access it outside the get sum method. Now my requirement is, I have changed my requirement, right? My requirement is not to print this sum here. Instead, my requirement is whatever sum is calculated, okay, whatever sum is calculated, I want to return this sum to the calling method. Who is calling method? Main method is calling. Okay, and it doesn't matter who is calling. Okay, but its job is calculate the sum, and whoever has called me, give that sum to that person, provided he gives two numbers to you. Okay, that is the main thing. Now in this case, what you're gonna do is, this is the defining factor, whether it's an void or int or what. Okay, this is the deciding factor. Now when you say void, it means that this method doesn't return anything. When you say void, it means that there is no return type. This method need not return anything to the called method. That's the reason so far we have used void. This is also void. But we have changed our requirement now. I am saying this method should return me the sum, correct? This is my requirement. This method should return me the sum of two numbers. It should calculate the two numbers and it should return me the sum. Sum is what? Sum is an integer, correct? Sum is an int type. So I will change the return type as int, guys. This is the first step. This is the first step to make this method return sum. This is the first step to declare return type. So this particular part of your method, this part, and this part is called as return type of the method. So we know that now the return type is integer. It should return an integer. Now it is giving some error to me. What is that error, guys? It is telling me that this method must return a result of type int. This method must return a result of type int. Means it is saying, boss, you have told this method will return me integer, but you are not returning me any integer. So if you want to return this sum, you have to type something like this. Return sum. That's it. Now the method is all set, guys. Method is all set. Okay, now this method, what it will do, it will calculate the sum. Okay, it will calculate the sum and it will return this sum because sum is an integer, correct? Now if main method is calling this particular method, okay, now if can it say sysovut sum? No, it still cannot say. It cannot access this sum. That's because sum is a local variable to get sum method and it can be accessed only inside get sum method. Okay, I'm repeating this because I have seen people getting confused most of the time when it comes to methods and especially methods with return type. Okay, instead how can I access this sum here? Because I have to get that sum somewhere here in some local variable and I have to call this get square method and I have to call to that get square method. That's my requirement. So all you can do is you have to say int, because this method returns int sum, and again I'm telling you this sum, you need not say sum. It is not necessary that since here you have used sum, here also you have used sum as a variable. You can use anything, sum1, anything. Okay, and but most of the time they will use the same name because they will understand. Okay, so yeah, here if at all you are having the same name, you will understand it very easily instead of giving us some other name, saying that okay, it's a sum. Okay, I'm calling a method called as get sum. Okay, and it is most probably returning something, and when it returns, I'm storing it in a variable called sum. And if I say now sysovut sum, okay, and I say sum, I'm not accessing this sum, guys, I'm accessing this variable, local variable. It should it should print 25, guys. See, it is printing 25 right here. So now that we have got the sum, all I need to do is, if I want to call this get square method, I can call it get square and I can pass sum to it. Now what will gonna happen? First this line gets executed. When it is, get sum, it sees that okay, get sum is a method. Okay, so it goes ahead and it assigns 10 to num1, 15 to num2. Then here it does 10 plus 15 equals to 25. It stores it in a variable called sum, and it returns this particular sum, and return sum will be assigned to one more variable in in main method called as sum, and that sum, and now I am passing to one more method called as get square, which will create, it will square that number and print the result. See, this is the thing, guys. Square of the number is 625. Square of the number is 625. So now this method getSum is a method which takes argument, that is with argument, it is with argument and with return type. In the same way, getSquare is a method with argument but without return type. Any doubts, guys? Any one of you? And you should know how to call these methods. You should know how to call these methods. And that is what I was talking about. A method can be in any of these four quadrants. With return type, okay, we have not seen this one, method with no argument and no return type. We have not seen it. Okay, no, we have seen that no argument and no return type. That's like greet method, wherein we were not passing anything. It just used to say hi, good morning always. Okay, what we have not seen is method with argument with return type. This also we saw. Method with no argument but return. This one we have not seen it. Method with argument but no return time. This one also we saw. The sum method, which used to previously sum, it used to calculate the sum, or else this method get square. Get square method is a method which has argument but it doesn't return anything. It just squares the result and just prints it. Okay, so this one we have not seen. Okay, we'll see this one as well. Okay, so there is no doubt in this. Okay, that's what I believe. And now there might be one more question. Okay, before we go for the last kind of methods, there might be one more question. Is it that always you will call all these methods from the main method? That is not necessary, guys. It's about your design, how you write the code. For example, say I can call one method from another method. Okay, say you can say something like this. You can call this get square method from here also if you want. So you can call this get square method from here also. Okay, now I'll not call from here. What's going to happen is it will call this get sum method, so it will calculate the sum, then it will call from here, it will call get square method, it will print this, and then it will give the sum here, and I'm not doing anything with the sum. Okay, I'm not printing the sum and all, so it will basically print this line. Let me know if at all any one of you are getting confused in this particular things I have written. No doubt? Okay, guys.
So Vishal, in case we need some value to be 25, then we need not to return any value, right?
Uh, I did not get this. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, sure. So in case we need to have some value as 25, that was the initial value.
Sum of the say
Without,
sum of the
yes,
value is
and some,
25.
yes, that is in main function.
Yeah. Okay.
Int sum is
Mm-hmm.
equal to
Mm-hmm.
25.
Mm-hmm.
So in case we need to use the same value, that is 25, and we need not to return the sum.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
So can we use like in get sum function, we are using get square sum, then we are not returning any sum to the main function.
Yeah, in that case, right? Yes, definitely. I mean, you mean to say that, see, I don't want this, see, I'm calling this get square method. Okay, say I'll do a duplicate method of it. Okay, I'll do a duplicate method. Okay, similar. So I'll comment this. So you are saying something like this, right? You say void here, and you need not return anything here. Okay, so will now this method, will it work like the same way? Yeah, now you can do it like this. So what will happen is get some method, it will get some, it will call this particular method, it will calculate the sum, and then it will pass that sum to get square method, and it will write this sum. Okay, and there is no return, nothing. If this method need not return anything. Okay, that is also possible. Yes. This is what you were asking, or
Uh,
it's something else?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
this is very much possible. This is very, very possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that is the thing, guys. Okay, and yeah. So basically, I wanted you to learn how to return some value and all those things. Okay, so I'll just remove this. I'll go back to the previous thing. Okay, but it's up to you. Okay, how you want your design to be. Okay, int sum is equal to get sum, and you will say get square, and I'll say sum. Okay, that is it, guys. Now, now, what is the, what is the last kind of methods? That is a method with no argument, but it gives you some return type. Okay, you will not be passing anything to the method, but it will return you something. Okay, it's the simplest of the example is you call a method like this. Okay, say I'll say example 10, example 10 or 91 methods. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is this method, say there is something called as public static. Now this method returns me something. What is that something? I'll tell you. As of now, I'll just making it a void, and I'll say get time, get time, and I'll not be passing any argument to it. I will not be passing any argument. Okay. Now, how you saw int, boolean, and string as an data type. There is a data type called date data type. This is also a data type. Okay. Now you can tell your method to return date. Okay, and how to get the date is, okay, now again here also you have to, we will discuss about the date data type in later tutorials, guys. Here you don't worry about this, you know, date data type or something. Okay, you if you want to get today's date, you have to say date d is equal to new of date, new of date. Okay, now you can say return d. Okay, d or date. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, I have said if this method returns a date data type. Okay, how int or float you have seen, float we have not seen. Okay, but boolean and string, the same way date is also a data type like any other data type. Okay, and don't worry about this particular line, you will understand when we go for objects, this particular line. Okay, just imagine that if you do this, you will get the date at this point of time. Now I want to return that particular date. Okay, that's it. So that's the reason I'm saying d. Now you can call this method get method, and you're not passing anything to it. Okay, you're not passing anything, but you're getting date. Okay, and this d is just a variable. You can say anything. If you don't want to say d something, you say anything, it's fine, guys. It's just a variable name. Here also it's not necessary that date, you can do anything. It's just a variable name. And if you say sysOut, and if you print this variable, it will give you the date, guys. See, it is giving you the date. So there are methods which will not take any argument. So argument is 0, there are no arguments, but it will return you something. It will return you something. Okay, that is the thing, guys. Okay, and don't worry about this date. The date is very important, and we will have some discussion on it once we learn objects in Java, guys. Objects in Java. Okay, and that's it for today. I'll try to send the what do you call that, syllabus. Okay, so Shika was also asking, but last night also I could not send you, but today or tomorrow I'll definitely try to send the syllabus. And that's it for today, guys. If you don't have any doubts, you can drop from this one. And my broadband is up, so I should be able to upload this video by by this evening.
Okay, and have you uploaded the second class as well? I mean, I just received 2 so far.
Now I actually uploaded everything. Like yesterday you did not get any email from me.
Yeah, I got it yesterday. I mean, the yesterday one and the first class, and after I don't know about the rest of the class because I just saw your mail twice.
Okay, so there were totally 4. I mean, that's
Hmm.
what I remember. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, let me just see. Okay, so
So including today's class, it should be 5, right?
yeah, see, it's 4, all 4 are there. So if you go to that this one, right, what is that, what is this called, playlist. Okay, you will have 4, and as of now it is open.
Okay.
Okay, after about fifth or 7th or 8th class, I will be making it closed. So only you guys, when you log in with your email address, you'll be able to access it. Okay, that's the thing, guys. Okay, but yeah,
Okay, yeah, thank you.
all are there here. Okay, right here. Okay, thank you. And that's it for today, guys. If you don't have any doubts, and we can wind up for today. Thanks a lot.
Sure, are we working on notes?
Notes, yes, I'm actually working on notes. Okay, I should be able to give you something by Sunday or Monday, I should be able to give you some notes. Okay, that will be very important for you guys. Okay, but I'm
Okay,
definitely
okay.
working on notes. Any other thing?
And Vishal, just a suggestion, can we have a group like for discussion if we do have anything? Can we have a WhatsApp group or
Yeah,
any
I
other group?
already have with my other batches. Okay, so I'll see whether I can add you in, other WhatsApp groups, or your this one, because what I saw was like most of the times, even if I create a WhatsApp group now, I'll put you in a group, most active group so far. Okay,
Yeah,
and I'll put you in that group. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, so those people also should be able to help you in case you are stuck or something. Okay, that is definitely possible. In fact, I have
yeah.
all my batches, the WhatsApp group. Anything else,
Okay,
Priyanka?
thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Priyanka. Okay, and do
No.
practice it. It will be helpful for you. Okay,
And Vishal, on my office laptop, I'll be having Lunar, so
Luna.
that will
Okay.
be okay, right?
Yeah, that should be fine. As of now, it is fine. But when we install plugins, no plugins, it might not be good. Not right now. Okay, after about around 20 classes, we'll be installing some plugins. Okay, that time you might be facing some difficulty. Plugin might not get installed, but otherwise, absolutely no. If the plugin gets installed, right, then there is no problem even with Luna, guys. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so not right now. Absolutely no problem.
Okay,
Okay, see what can be done, and I don't think any problem even with your office laptop, even if it has Luna. Okay, so that is it. Anything else? Yeah.
so
All right. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining. Take care. Bye bye.
thanks, Vishal. Bye.
Yeah, bye.